Back to the channel, everyone. I'm Owen Video, and today I have a very special friend that is joining us. Tim Schmoyer from Video Creators is here, and we are going to be talking about YouTube productivity. That is literally getting more work done in less time, and I think getting better work done than we're used to doing. What do you think, Tim? Is productivity also getting better work done?
I like productivity when it includes reducing the amount of time that I can spend having a bigger impact and making better connections than people with people and on people. So yeah, I'm not really like a productivity guru or nerd by any chance, but if I see the results it has on my business and on other people's lives and things, I'm like, oh, this is something I should probably do more of. So
Yeah, that's really, that's something that's I can say is very consistent with you. We've known each other for quite some time. You were one of the first experts I ever began to follow in my YouTube journey, and you have always been really big about making an impact. I have been someone that's sort of been challenged by adversity. I've had some health problems that have disrupted or tried to have disrupted my career over the years. And so I've always looked for tools that will help us get more done. When you reached out to me recently and you showed me the tool that you were using, I was really blown away by it. And so I'm really excited to dig into that with you today and sort of, show everyone who's watching us how to be more productive, how to get more done with your team, I think is key, but also how to get more done on your YouTube channel. So we're going to talk about some of those things. And as we get started, I want to welcome Kathy Fitt, who is my good friend, a member of the Video Marketing School, logging in today. Joshua Goldstein, logging in, the best in immigration law. It's good to have you here, Josh, and the rest of you that are watching us on YouTube. Tim, let's talk a little bit about this tremendous tool that you have shared with us. You shared with me earlier in the week.
Yeah. Before I dive into that, I just pulled up the picture of when we first met. Can I share that?
Please
do. Is that too fangirly-ish?
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. Absolutely. Prove it to people. People don't believe
it. I found this on my computer the other day, and I'm like, I believe this is the first conversation Owen and I ever had. And it was CVX Live in 2016. Is that right?
Oh my gosh, so good. CVX. Yeah, that was in Utah. That was at Overwhelm, Utah.
Yeah. And so I was just going through some other photos and I'm like, oh, I think that's the first time I met Owen. So anyway, it's just a little flashback there.
That is a great picture. I want you to know I bought that jacket in Amsterdam and my wife always hated it. And I think she destroyed it because I haven't seen that jacket since this event. And I wonder if she actually took it and did something with it. I'll have to I'll have to ask. But we've been to quite a few conferences together.
Yeah, and it's always fun to catch up with you. So yeah, this app. So here's what's going on in my business. Give you a little backstory here. Is we had always used a certain platform that we were using for community development and group coaching and things. And we just decided we got to shut this thing down. We're putting a lot of effort into this for not nearly enough reward, not necessarily financial reward, but just in terms of like, we think that there's a better way to serve people than the experience that we feel like we're having here. So, but I didn't really know what that was. So I had heard about a couple of different options of helping for like group coaching and one-on-one coaching and stuff that Marco Polo, if you remember that. Well, not remember. It's an app. It's not that you gotta remember. It's
I'm mad at Marco Polo though, because they gave me all these great features. And then as soon as I updated my app, they took them all away.
Oh yeah. Or you have to pay for them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they had this project they were working on for a while called Channels, Marco Polo Channels, which was an app using asynchronous video chat like Marco Polo or Snapchat or something to work in your coaching program. And I'm like, I think this is what I need. So I'm checking it out and I'm doing all these searches. I'm like, I find out, they shut down the program. It's not a thing anymore. I'm like, man. So I start doing like searching for alternatives. I remember I'm laying in my bed at night. My wife's already asleep and I'm like, can't fall asleep. I'm still working even on my phone. which doesn't happen often. Just, but this time I was like, I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about it. So I'm doing some Google searches, and I'm scrolling all the way down the page. There's no good results. And so I scroll back over the top, and I never click on ads, but I'm like, okay, this time I'm going to click on the ad. So there's this ad for this app called Volley. I'm like, okay, what is this? I click on it, go through the website. I'm like, okay, well, give it a shot. I don't really know what it is. Is it like one of those apps that'll be here now and it's gone like 3 weeks from now? Like, what is this? I don't know. So I create this account, and the next day, I get into the app, and I'm just there's this video from the co-founder, like it's an automated video there, just like, hey, just reply to this video, and love to help you out if you have any questions. I'm like, I got lots of questions. Is this the right tool for me? Is it not for me? Like, I don't know. So I just make a quick little video response, thinking it's going to be like how on the website they have like a little intercom down the right corner where you chat with their tech, and it's like, we might get back to you in like 40 to 65 days, or something like that. Yeah. And so I just like monotone, like whatever, in the dark video, and then I got this response back like within a few hours, and like, oh, Tim Schmoyer, what's Tim Schmoyer? I'm like, whoa, like, does he do this to everybody? And it turns out he's a former YouTube creator, and was trying to grow his channel at one time, and just as a hobby and stuff. So started talking, as explained to him what I'm trying to do here. And so I started digging in with this app, with this Volley. I'm like, okay, well, the way I'll explain let me kind of show you the benefits and explain how it works. So basically I had this beta test. I want to do this new course I was launching, and I needed some sort of community development to support the students who are going through it. So I'm like, well, let me try using Volley. I don't know, but it's a beta, and everyone in this course knows it's a test. So let's just try it. And I was blown away at the results. Usually what happens at the end of these group coaching programs is that by the end of it, there's only like 40% of the people are still engaged, right. Because it's long and life happens, things come up, and everyone I was talking to was like, well, Tim, that's how it works. You can lead a horse to drink, but you can't, or you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I'm like, I think the horse wants to drink, though. Like, that's why they bought this thing. Like, and I did all the work to get them to the water. I don't want to just throw my hands in the air and be like, well, I did everything. Like, what if there's something else I could do to actually get them to drink? Yeah. And so it was happening through using Volley to support these clients in this program, is at the end of it, almost 100% of the people were still engaged. Awesome. And I was like, what is this? And so I'll just kind of skip ahead. Basically, we ended up rolling it out to our one-on-one clients and for our group coaching stuff. And what we saw happen is, instead of one YouTube strategist on my team being able to work with approximately about 20 clients in a group setting, it's over 100 now. Wow. And we haven't even hit the limit, I don't think, yet. So we've 5x our capacity of how many people one strategist can serve. But the kicker, the thing that I really love about it, it's not like we're just like whittling down our time. We actually serve 100 people better than we did before in less time than before. And it'll make sense once I show it to you guys here. But and then in our one-on-one, the same thing happened. People are like, I don't feel like I need to do like our Zoom calls anymore. We're like, okay. They're like, we're getting it. And the email volume went down. It was like,
so your clients actually said, we don't need to do Zoom calls anymore. Let's just use Volley. Is that what you said?
Yeah, some of them were like, we don't think we need Zoom calls anymore. And we're like, yeah, we know, because what we predicted going into it based on our other experience is that we don't like, it's hard to get calendars to sync up, time zones to align, and everything where people's schedules can all kind of be in the same spot at the same time and have a conversation. But with Volley, you don't need that. You get in, you leave like a video message, and then someone comes back with like their video response or a screen share or a text or a GIF or whatever. And the conversation flows as we have time for it, not like trying to get everyone in sync, which meant that our group coaching program, we no longer needed to limit it to certain time zones and schedules. It removed all of that. And so we are serving more people in less time. And what's happening on the community side of things and the group side is that instead of like most of these text-based forums and Facebook groups where you have like an icon and like a name and use mostly text, and people are just kind of like, you can communicate information, but it's not good for creating connection. But
Yes.
here, like in Volley with video back and forth, I think that's why the engagement stayed almost at 100% by the end, is because you're quickly making emotional connections with people, and that keeps people coming back and wants them to
Yes.
keep engaging. And so the same thing with the clients too. They're like, I like this better than Zoom calls. We tell them, like, it's like having a coach in your pocket now, right? You
That's
just
really good.
pull out your phone, and it's been awesome. So I'll stop ranting, but there you go.
Will you show us your desktop a little bit? Because we've got people watching, and we're going to be sending this out to our email list. Tim called me up and he's like, hey, I'd love for you to check out this tool. He's like, we're kind of in the same business, and like maybe you'll like it. We have already been in this place, and our company where we have been using our project manager to manage projects, but then we're using like 4 different communication tools to get messages, like sending links on Messenger, and then we're sending voice on text. But he's got an Android, and so this tool, Volley, brought all of our people together, and we got rid of our Monday and our Friday team meetings. We now have Volley check-ins. And I'll tell you, after the first week, we were in this place of like, wow, we've been so productive this week. Like, we got so much stuff done. So I would love to if you could show us a little bit about how, I'll go to the full screen. You guys can see that way. You guys can kind of see the whole thing. Show us a little bit about how Volley works here. And you guys, you're going to hear a sound delay here because he's going video to video.
Yeah. So this is my, the desktop version of Volley, for iOS, Mac, PC, Android, like all the platforms. And it's basically what you get if you combined Slack with Marco Polo or Snapchat or something. And so what we've got here is there's kind of 2 elements to it right here. I'm in my network in my Volley, and this is where a lot of, like, you think about this more of like your messaging area, where we go, you can do one-on-one. Here I am going back and forth with Dane or with Guy Joel or a client of mine, Monica. And you can see that in here in this timeline, we can publish everything from video back and forth, here, and going back and forth with the video chat. But we've also got like screen sharing, going through some titles for podcasts, and you can do GIFs. Of course, we wouldn't be complete without GIFs. You can swap files, do text stuff, so it's all or voice only if you don't want to be on video. So you have all these different ways to just kind of go back and forth. I can see where she's at in the timeline. You can even have smaller groups of people here. Here I am with Ben and Josh. So
cool.
And it's really easy to get people in here. You just go up and you have like your own landing page. You get your Vanity URL, and you just give this URL to people, have your own custom video at the top, and people click the link. There's a little button right below, and like they join right into a new conversation with you right here in Volley. So that makes sense, this part?
Yeah, that's really cool. Show us a little bit of how, like, what that landing page looks like. And just for you guys to know, I put a link in the chat area right now. If you guys want to join me on Volley, I put in the chat, and there's a link to our Volley group called Influence with Owen Video. Join us there. We've got a couple conversations already started. And if you guys have questions about how to use Volley, like how to be actually productive with Volley, because I don't think Tim and I aren't here to just show you a cool new app. We have both been very productive with this tool, and we want to see you guys be productive with this tool. So I'd love to see if you could show me the landing page and what that part looks like as well.
I'm just bringing it up here for you. Let me switch. You stop sharing for a second and then go and switch to this other one. So this is what it looks like then in a browser window. So if people click on that URL, it takes them here, a little bio here, a little welcome video, and then talk to Tim on Volley. So they can just click right here, and it'll just prompt them to create an app or create an account and put them right into the app, right straight into a conversation with me. It takes seconds, especially if you do it on mobile, because they have single sign-on with social platforms and stuff. It's just like a tap or 2, and then you're like right in, and your account is created. So yeah,
and it really prompts you to make a video. The number one video that I get from people right now is this thing on? Am I recording?
Yep. Yep, you're good. I think so.
Totally.
Oh, sorry. You got me. I thought your internet hiccuped or something.
You with me? Yeah.
Never
It's like,
mind.
are you here? But that's
I am
like,
here.
it's that easy to use, right? Like it's a lot like Marco Polo, but it also has some organizational features to it that allow you to create groups and then like channels within the groups. And we can take a look at that in just a second. We had a couple different questions come in. The first one is from Mandy Joe, who says, for our business, should we be dressed up or don't worry about it?
So this is a good point. Maybe I was going to get into this a little bit later, but in terms of like managing the community and setting expectations about your time and how accessible you are going to be in there and what the kind of the ethos of this community is, we have basically just 3 rules. One is, remember the 5 B's of public speaking. Do you know the 5 B's of public speaking?
Yes.
Okay, because you're in the group, I think.
These of public speaking are.
It's be brief, baby, be brief. Right. So we tell people, like, you're getting in here. If you got like, share your thoughts, minute, 2 minutes. If you start creeping up into 3 minutes, maybe just consider hitting cancel and just thinking about the question you really want to ask and that you really have here, so that you'll be more likely to get a response and helpful insights if we actually understand what you're actually asking here. And you'll save all of us a lot more time. And we found that most people just adhere to that. Like, they don't really go over 3 minutes just because we've set that expectation. 2, we tell people, don't obsess, which means like, if your hat's on sideways, you haven't shaved for a couple days, and the kid runs in the background beating the drum, like, that's part of the charm of it. Point your phone at the kid and be like, my kid's running through. That's the human stuff that connects us, and then just keep going, right? So don't obsess over what you look like. And then 3rd, we obviously just no self-promotion, spam, things like that. But now, those are the expectations we set.
We set some similar expectations. I think the big one is under 3 minutes is really key. If there's something longer, I think you got to prepare somebody for that and say, hey, I'm gonna send you a slightly longer message. I'll send it to you privately, right? And set the expectation for that. But you can also upload, and you did this. You can also upload like your course videos to Volley.
I actually recorded those right in Volley, actually.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Yeah, I know. But you can upload your video content to it. I think there's a file size restriction. I'm not sure what it is, but you can do that.
But I think for a lot of the people listening, and this is going to be our next question that's coming in from Karen asked this question, is how are you using it for clients? And I think it's a good transition, because there's a communication tool, there's a group tool. I think that Volley will replace Facebook groups. And I want you guys to know personally how interested I am in getting my business off of Facebook. I don't want to be beholden. That company is doing some really scary things right now. I'd like to be clear from there. But we're also delivering coursework on that, on the platform on Volley as well. And so, Tim, maybe you could walk us through a little bit of how you're using Volley to serve your clients and like the application in your business life.
Yeah, so we do that link. I showed you guys how to get that Vanity URL, the thing we just showed before. You can just go here to the gear icon and get this Vanity URL. We just give that to our clients after. So our fuller process is they pay, they go through like this little mini course that just our one-on-one clients where it's like, here's the contract and sign this thing and give us access to this in your channels, analytics, and blah, blah, blah. And then they get to this, like, okay, here's how we're going to communicate, how to access your strategist. Here's, and then we give them the link, they go through that same process, and then they end up right here inside of conversations for us. So just like Monica and I here, and then we just go back and forth. And now we do have some Zoom calls for our clients in the beginning, because most people don't understand the power of Volley till they actually use it and experience it. Once they use it and experience it, then they're like, oh, like if we just told them Volley up front, they're like, what's that? So we tell them Zoom calls because they know what that is. But after they start experiencing this with us and going back and forth and just having, it's faster for us because we're not in email anymore, at least not nearly as much. And they feel like they're getting the one-on-one personal connection that they need, not just some generic emails and stuff, because they're making eye contact, they're seeing us, and it's faster for them. And the communication just happens much more smoothly and quicker. So we use this. Now, one kind of tip here, which is interesting, if you're like, they make automated transcripts as well. So you can kind
Oh,
of search through these. And if
oh my
you're like, oh, what happened right here? You can just click on that spot right there and it'll just jump to that spot of that part of the conversation.
So think
So
about, I mean, I'm going to jump in because I get so excited. I like a little puppy dog sometimes with new tech, but imagine the capabilities of being able to now transcribe blogs, right? To be able to like talk to your person, like, hey, let's write a blog today. Like, what should that blog be? Okay, write a blog about, da 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 da. And then you've got the transcript within moments right there that you can now send off to be more appropriately turned into
yeah.
a
And in the
piece.
future, the transcripts will be searchable too. So you'll be able to just find exactly what conversation was that and just find it. And they're half decent transcripts too.
That's great.
So, so that one little tip here with, so what we do, and I don't know if this applies to anyone else who's doing one-on-one coaching, but sometimes our coaches, like, and our strategists on our team, like to take vacations, or they get sick and can't be available or something. And so what we do is we just go up to details and we just add a participant here. So let's say like Monica, sorry, I'm going to be off for 2 weeks or something. I'll just come here and add one of the other strategists on my team. And this will now be a 3-way conversation. And so now Monica, my strategist, can go back and watch our entire conversation be brought totally up to date, and then pick up where I left off, continuing to help the client. And then when I come back from vacation, I just go back, watch all the volleys and be, thank you, Delina, Ingrid, Luke, whoever. And then they just leave the conversation and it's just back to the two of us again.
Wow.
So our clients continue to get help without missing a beat.
Yeah. That's really incredible. Hey, if you guys have questions about how to use Volley or how it works, you can ask them now. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'm going to share some of how we're using it as well. And I'm actually using this in my personal life too. I'm sort of like trying to get my family on to Volley because we want to be like organizing family trips and organizing family get-togethers and doing all that stuff in a place where it's like, well, Logan said this, but then Casey said that, and kind of keeping everything organized. This seems like a really good tool for that. Mandy Joe is asking a question about vanity URLs or space URLs. I've been asking him this question all week. So which one do we give out?
Vanity URL is for your network, my network right here. This is for when you want to start a one-on-one conversation with someone. The space URL is just what I'll introduce you to next year. That's where the magic of Volley is, honestly. This is kind of like Marco Polo-ish, but the magic here is a lot of these apps that do something similar, like Marco Polo, WhatsApp, Signal, Facebook Messenger. A lot of these are good for one-to-one or like few to few, like one to few. Like they're good for like a small group. But the magic of Volley is you can do one-to-one and few, like I have here, but you can also do many to many. And for like group coaching programs or supporting people who are going through online courses and things, that's where the magic of this happens. So let me show you where that's at. All of these things right down my sidebar are different spaces I'm a part of. So I'd show yours, but I'm not part of yours. So let me just maybe show this one, Volley for Creators. You can see there's 352 people in here. Now, if you're going to think about a Marco Polo conversation with 352 people in it, that would be ridiculous. Right? No one would want to be in that conversation, but it's a lot different here. So we have, similar to Slack, we have these different channels where you can, ask questions here in this one. We've been testing and doing some experiments here with each other here. I was testing out portrait mode and horizontal mode on my phone. We got people like some super fans. I'm way behind. All these red badges you see, I'm way behind. These guys talk a lot. Oh, there's someone's kid. But that's the other thing you don't get an email, right? It's someone's kid. Yeah, and so here, like the channels you can share volleys in, and we have 2 broadcast only channels. So this one, only admins can post in here. So this would be me making some announcements, and then we have this course about like how to use Volley for creators, where the co-founder Josh and I go back and forth. And then down here is where we have like, here's Owen and I talking back and forth. And we can have like these conversations as well, or group conversations as well down here. Like DMs basically. But to get someone in here into a space, this is where you would go to that gear icon and get this link to invite space people, and that'll put them into the space rather than into a one-on-one conversation with you. And that landing page has a welcome video and, a couple guidelines and stuff, that 5 B's and don't obsess and things like that in it too.
Yeah. Million dollar landscaper is here. It's good to see you again here, bro. He says, I'm excited to start trying this out. I really like it too. And $1 Million Landscaper, I think could be leveraging this in a way to do daily alerts to your coaching clients, right? Like a Monday motivation, and even like saying like a prompt, right? So on Mondays, like, hey, here's a Monday motivation, guys. How are you gonna sell 20,000 this week? And then you get your people sort of talking and hearing from each other. That would be a great way to use it. But there's really a lot of creative ways to use it.
We have people using this as like an additional perk to their Patreon reward tiers.
That's good.
If you pay this, you can get access to the Volley community and things. There's a lot of people using this with their paid membership programs, that as like a bonus or something that they get access to. And a lot of the people who are facilitating those communities prefer Volley just because, one, it's so fast and so human, and the connection happens so much at a higher level, and the engagement is so much higher, and the retention is so much higher. There's not as much churn. So it's for membership sites and programs for Patreon. I have another one here that I'm a part of called Abraham's Wallet, which is a podcast, and they're using, I can share it with you if you want me to. I don't have permission, but I don't think they'll care. This is another podcast called Abraham's Wallet, and they're just using this to get to talk about things related to podcast episodes. So the podcasts are very much like a one-way type of thing, but then the people get into Volley and discuss the podcast episodes. And what's really cool about this is if someone says something really insightful, you can get permission to share that in podcast. If I right click, I can download this Volley and now put that in my video, or put the audio into my podcast episode. Or if I just wanted to share it, like, hey, someone's on a Volley, but you got to see this, I can copy that public link and just send it to that one. I use this mark for follow-up a lot actually too, because like, oh, this is good, I need some time to think about it, and I'll get back to you.
Show them what happens when you do that, when you mark it for follow-up, because it's kind of neat how it shows up in your network.
Yeah, if I was gonna like mark this for follow-up, it'll pop right up here, get a follow-up, and then now it has a blue icon on it. So whenever I come back here, let me like click on recreation or something. If I click on follow-up, regardless of where I'm at, I think if I'm even up here, it's still, oh, I got to follow up with Dane over here, but it's a blue icon on here. If I click on follow up, I just click on it and it takes me right back to where I need to be.
Amazing.
Follow up.
Amazing. Now,
but yeah, there's a lot of different ways to really leverage this.
We've got questions on that coming up right now, but I do want to kind of say a couple different things. First is, someone said this is a lot like Discord.
Yes.
Talk to us about, and a good buddy of mine, Scott Ayers, said this the other day. He's like, great, another app.
I know. I saw that comment on Facebook.
Okay, so you saw that.
I think I replied to him. I'm like, no, this is a different, but I
deleted him.
Oh, did you?
I've had enough of Scott Ayers. He's very good. But I think that there is like app overwhelm, right? Because a lot of people have been saying to me, oh, Owen, but my other app can do this, or I can do parts of that. Tim, what's your answer to that?
Here's what comes to mind for me. I don't know if it's a good answer, but app overwhelm is real. I get it. I very rarely install a new app on my phone. And when I do, I got to be really motivated to do this. And in this case with Volley, I was motivated because like, I don't know, but like, and it's mostly I'm going to give them my personal information that I'm going to be on an email list I can't get off of and stuff too. So I get that. But I also feel like the point of anything we're doing, whether it's Restream.io or it's Volley or it's Mac or PC, or if on the side of my wall is my workshop, if it's the hammer, these are all tools we're using to try to accomplish something. Yeah. And certain tools are designed to accomplish things better than others, right? So I could go up on my roof and try to drive nails with a rake. but I also don't go to my yard and try to rake up leaves with a hammer, right? So those, there's nothing wrong with those tools. They need to be used in the proper way to really get the full benefit and value from them. And I feel like apps and everything we're doing here is like, it's a tool that we use, and Volley is the tool that I use. That is the hammer for the nail that is going to like give my family a secure roof. Very metaphorically speaking. You get what I'm saying? It's the right tool for the job, which is keeping people engaged, communicating faster, more intimate conversations, and less time, and serving people better and better connections, less Zoom meetings, no email. It's like, it's like the tool that does that job. So yes, there's app fatigue. The other hand, like if it does that job well and I need to do that job, then I think the app is worth it, especially because it's free, so.
Yeah. And now how about the concerns that, I mean, Marco Polo was free too, and then they stripped all the features from us. So what can you say? Like, are we going to get started on Volley and then they're going to hit us in a year with $30 a month?
Only Scott errors. Everyone else is fine. So Josh Little is the CEO, co-founder of Volley, and what he's reassured me, and I've heard him say this publicly many other times, is that people who are creating accounts and using Volley now will not get screwed later. They will either get grandfathered in and continue to get access to all the features they currently have access to for free, in perpetuity, forever. Like, we're not going to like, hey, you had this, sorry. Now there's a paywall behind it. But now they will add a premium plan later, but that'll be for you to access additional features that you don't yet have access to. Right. They're not going to take away features that you currently have.
Good.
They might add some of the features we currently have might become paid later, but not for people who are signing up and using the app now. They'll all be grandfathered in. Yeah. He's like, he hates that too. So yeah, he's not going to do that to us.
And that's a great response, because especially because the apps are so similar, and Gary V has mentioned a few times that you get started on something when it's new. And that's sort of the exciting part about Volley, is they're still building their initial sort of user base. And when we become a part of that, you have the opportunity, just like a lot of people had on Clubhouse, to kind of really like accept. Now, this isn't social like Clubhouse, so the longevity is going to be a lot longer here. This is more like a new way of communicating. And I want to show people more of the app. I want to show some of how we're using it as well. But we did have a couple questions that I want to answer first. Kathy Fit, and this is sort of maybe a little bit of strategy. I'm going to bring your screen back up here, but Kathy Fit.
Yeah, I just joined yours. I hope that's okay.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
I just saw you looking in the chat. I'm like, oh, I want to join Owen's. So
I'm sorry that I had to you had to go into the comments. I should have sent it to you.
Oh, they're right in front of me. It's not hard. I just didn't. Yeah, just so you know, maybe I'm in here. I welcome myself.
That's good. Maybe we could walk through this, and Kathy, maybe you could, we'll answer your question along the way. This is our new sort of Facebook group, right? We're calling it Influence with Owen Video. We'll change the name eventually, but right now it's Influence with Owen Video. And these are like the conversations that we want to have with people, right? So it says like everyone, this is a place where everyone can kind of just come in and comment. You can see we're all sort of introducing ourselves there. But we also have a thread on camera influence, on live streaming. And so if you've got a question, Kathy, about YouTube, you come to my Volley, you go to the YouTube questions, the YouTube discussion thread, and you ask your YouTube question. Now, you can do that with video, but you can also turn the camera off and just do voice. You could send your screen over. You could do text and send files. There's tons that you can do there. So this is our new way of doing Facebook groups. And we want you guys to go to the comment section, join our Volley, and become a part of this group and see how it works. Now, all of that to say,
this is great.
Tim, Kathy is asking, like, how would I use this for a fitness coaching company?
Oh my goodness. Wow. I would say like, well, before I make assumptions, I'm not a fitness coach, right? But depends on what kind of fitness you're talking about. If it's like, hey, I'm going to do a workout here, because we've been saying keep the volleys to 2 to 3 minutes, but I've sent volleys that are like 25 minutes to people. I don't know if they liked it or not, but in that case, it was actually the co-founder, Josh Little, so he had to watch it. But it was cool because it saved us a whole meeting, and when we didn't really have time to schedule something. So you can send longer, but I don't know if you could do like your workout routines in here, and then people come back and record or maybe watch your workouts later on here if they want, but then jump right in and ask video questions. If people want feedback, if there are people are, I don't know the fitness, but if it's like posture and how you do the move, you know, like you got to make sure your back is straight when you do this. Like you can give feedback on that type of thing. So anything that's like visual, especially like fitness. We have one guy do it with like cooking, and what was the other guy? I don't know. There's just like a bunch of people doing like very visual things with it. So I think it would be really smart
You
to
can also
use it
post
for
memes here,
that kind of thing.
like inspiration of the day. You know, you could be posting before and after pictures. You could have a whole thread. See how mine says on camera influence? Kathy, you could have like before and after right there. That's okay.
Oh yeah. Like, I was going to show, I do that in this, this is my old Business Labs one. But I had, where is it? Biz Thoughts with Tim, that I would come in here every Friday and I'd be like, guys, here's something to think about business as creators on YouTube. And so it would be like, I give myself permission to go up to like a 5 or 6 minute volley with that. And then we'd have a discussion after it. And so that was like a thing every Friday. I would come in and keep people engaged. It would spark more conversation. And now one of the things that's going to be happening cool here in 2 weeks from now, Volley's going to be rolling out threaded conversations, replies. So right now, everything kind of just goes down to one timeline right here. But in the future, what will be happening is that each one of these will be one conversation. So I start the conversation, everyone replies. It'll be a stack of thumbnails here instead of a timeline. So I can click on it and then watch all the replies, the volleys to that, which makes it easy now. Instead of just some of these, you know, communities who have like 300 something, I think we'll be able to support thousands, because if you don't want this conversation, you can just skip it, go to the next conversation, preview that one, go to and like, oh, okay, here's the conversation I really want, and then just watch the volleys associated with that one. So I'm really looking forward to that when that comes here in the next few weeks.
That's probably because you're using it, you know, just like me. Like I'm using it a lot now, and so I'm seeing more and more opportunities, like features that I'd like to see, but also like ways that I can use it maybe more. So $1 Million Landscaper saying, I love the idea of having discussions for our podcast. And look, here's another idea is like, how about $1 million questions? And, and, you know, your clients ask questions that you can either answer in Volley, sure, but then you can download their questions and use them in your future YouTube videos, right? Like this is a great place to gather content. In fact, can I show you guys how we're using this a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. Stop sharing. Is that gonna mess up?
Let me, pull up mine. I think I'm gonna pull up my. Okay. So this is mine over here, and you guys can see this is my network. And I've got my people down here, and then this is the group influence, but this is our business thread. Okay. So in our business, we have a daily check-ins thread. And on this thread, you can see I'm 8 behind. My team is much better at checking in than I am. I've got a couple of check-ins to watch, but the idea is every teammate checks in at the end of the day with like a 30-second volley, a 1-minute volley. And so we all know, get this, listen to this. Every team member knows where every other team member is at the end of the day. And this has enabled us to get rid of the meetings that we have in the calendar that never happen because there's always someone who can't make it, right? And yes, Carmen is an absolute pro at this. Now, there's some other things that we did here that I think are pretty creative. For example, Ryan and I have our back and forth thread. Now, what we're doing down here is we're using the text like almost like cheers. So I can respond, I can respond in video, but I can also, if like Mandy said, I don't feel like video, I can just respond in my voice, and I'm automatically recording here. You can see that it's automatically recording. And now I can send this message. I'm just going to cancel it. I can also do text, and in texting, I can send links as well. So I don't know.
And at replies people too. You can tag them. Yeah.
You can tag people, right? And then if I were to have like, a link, I don't know if I have anything up in handy. I could just like link to this video. In fact, let me just go here and link to the video. I'll hit enter. I'll just actually send it and show you guys what it looks like. When I come and check on the link, I can see the thumbnail and I can click on it. So, Ryan can easily send me a message that's like, hey, what do you think about our latest video? Here's a link to the video, right? What do you think about this email draft? And here's a link to the email draft, right? He can send me pictures of thumbnails and he's like, what do you think is thumbnail? And then I can send him a voice on how, my comments or feedback on it. So one of the things that we're doing right now is like, he'll write me a text that's the title of a video. And it will be something like, how to grow on YouTube. And that'll be written in text. And then I will voice him what I want to see in that video. Okay, on that video, we want to do blah, 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 blah. I tell him what the video should look like. He then takes the transcripts and he brings it to our Wednesday shoots, where that now becomes, that's the video that we shoot. So we're using this to build out plans, to build out ideas. We're also using this for daily check-ins and for weekly check-ins. So how you guys use it, I think, varies on your business model, right? It's like Karen said, I would pay for a tool that did what this tool does. And the good news is you don't have to pay for it. So let me ask you guys watching this right now, how are you thinking about using Volley? Right? What are some ways? Can I show you guys something else? Let me show you something else that we're doing. So, we get testimonials a lot, and I'm sure you guys do too. And we get testimonials from like our clients who will send us testimonials, or we'll get like a friendly text. Oh crap, maybe it's like one of those. I didn't ask permission, but I'm going to share it anyway. Like, a client sent me this yesterday. He's like, my latest video is like going through the roof. And so like I grabbed a picture of that and I dumped it here into my testimonials thread. And Teresa does the same thing. We get testimonials. She dumps them in here. So now when it's like, oh, we're making a new video, I need a testimonial, we have a thread of just testimonials that we can go to. And I'll show you one more thing so I got your attention. I've started one for my own family to use. And one of the that I'm doing is capturing recipes here, because you guys know that I'm fighting cancer and I'm beating cancer, and I'm beating cancer primarily with food and diet. So I get a lot of recipes. I see a lot of recipes on Instagram that I like. I see recipes on Facebook that I like, but I also have cookbooks that I like. And it's like, I don't want to go to like 5 different places. Seriously, when I'm in the kitchen preparing dinner, I have my phone on me. So now I can come into my Hempstead family space, click on recipes, and check out. I've got my broccoli recipe here. I've got a link. Now, how about the recipes that I find on Instagram? In Instagram, I copy the link to the post, I paste it here, and I can just click this and it opens up the recipe right back in Instagram. So, one of our mutual friends, Jess, introduced me to a book a long time ago that's called like Get It Done, I think is what it was called. I can't remember the title of the book. By the way, this tofu recipe came out fantastic. It was so good.
That's the first time I've ever heard someone say that about tofu.
Yeah, usually someone that has to eat tofu that decides like, I'm going to look on the positive side, and this was good.
Yeah.
But organization is about having receptacles. And I know that a lot of you guys probably have receptacles everywhere. You store things here, you store things there, you store them in your iPad, you store them on that thing. Volley gives us a place to put them all of those things together, where it's like a best of, like a top 10 list for all the things that we want to do. Yeah. So I'd love to hear from you guys how you would use it. Mandy is saying, I would use that for writing friends and everyone check in with what they wrote. I love that. Tim, how could we make that something a coach could use, a consultant?
Writing for my writing friends and checking. Yeah, I mean, it's primarily a video first platform, not a text based platform.
She's like a writing coach. She like does books and stuff like this.
Right. So she asking like, what if people like post their chapters and we give people
Excuse
feedback
me. No,
about
I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I was looking at the wrong name. I was thinking of Naomi. This is Mandy. She's a walking coach. You were correct. She would use that for writing to her friends. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, there's text in there. It's primarily a video first thing. So if I don't know how this works for writers, but if you're just like, hey, I'm on the go and I don't have time or I don't really want to sit down and just crank out like a long response in a text format, this is a lot faster. Like you could have someone easily share the Google Doc there or upload their document straight to it. You can look at it and then just give them verbal responses to it. And save a lot of time if you just want to talk through concepts rather than having to write another book yourself to reply to the thing that they're writing. You know,
here's her follow-up question. And I think you kind of answered it, is could I make a space where I'm the only one there and basically speak my book and then copy and paste?
I saw that. I'll be honest. I don't think Volley is the right tool for that. The transcriptions they're good. They're automated. If I was going to recommend a different app for that, I would use Descript. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but that's exactly what it does. You just either write your script and then use it like a teleprompter, or you can just speak it and it'll transcribe for you. But then you can it'll record the audio of you talking. And then in the document, if you're like, I don't want that sentence in there, you just delete that sentence. And then the audio doesn't have that sentence in it anymore. And it changes your voice inflection and like make it sound super natural. So I'd say like something like that would probably work a little bit better in my opinion.
That's really good. But, I will say this though. My wife, I'm trying to find it right now. Let me see if this is it. Okay. So the email is like, can you guys hear this? Be more productive. Okay. So my wife hits me yesterday and she's like, what do you want to say in that email? And this is what I sent her. Okay. So the email is like, be more productive. People always say to me all the time, Owen, how do you get so many social media? Or Owen, how do you do so many live videos? Owen, how do you so I'm smacking on peanut butter there. I hope you guys forgive me. I eat tofu and peanut butter. That's pretty much the only two things I'm allowed to eat. But you may not want to write out your whole book here, but I certainly dictate emails. I dictate Facebook posts, and we don't have to have our darn Friday meetings anymore. I do
that with my assistant too, because then they could go to the transcript and copy it and then just tweak it and make it look good. So yeah, to the email.
Ray MacArthur is asking about he's an AC contractor consulting. So he's consulting these dudes that are in the trades, and he's asking about like getting organized and staying organized. Maybe I'll pull my screen off just for a second here, but what tips do you have on using Volley to stay organized? I mean, I just showed one with having threads to organize things like testimonials. Tim showed you how he keeps his course in there. But
and we also use it for your testimonials thing too. We have in our course a testimonials channel, and then we just ask people to go record them in there, and then we can use their video, their audio, or just extract the text out of it. So that makes it easy too. I don't know what you mean by like organize. I don't use Volley to organize my life. I use Volley for the tool as a tool to communicate quickly and meaningfully at scale with a lot of people. And that's kind of what I use it for. So I guess I don't really use the say organized. Inside the app, things stay organized in terms of conversations.
That's what I think it's more about, is like, what are some of the ways that you can organize these things? And so, I think that having a space for your business is key, right? So this is going to be for the administration of your business. It's going to be you, and many of you have Filipino outsourcers, or you have people overseas that like, they are working while you're sleeping. And so this is a great check-in tool. So I think that you have an admin space that's for your business. And within that space, we have daily check-ins. But then we have testimonials, and we have administrative stuff that happens. And a lot of that happens actually not through the channels, but just through one-to-one communication.
We have a Filipino on our team who's an admin, and she's been working for us for like 5 years now or something. She's great. She's great. And one of the things that I do one-on-ones with everyone on our team each month in a synchronous Zoom call. And one of the things that comes up, she's like, the team is growing. I think it's great, but I don't really know people here as well as I used to anymore. And now that we've been using Volley instead for communication, she feels like she's a part of the team. She feels like she's getting to know the people face to face, having conversations with them. And that's something that couldn't happen before because of time zones and things with Zoom calls. So Volley, when you said Filipino, I'm like, yes, like for our team, like that has been magic for her and our business. And I'm so
we
glad
almost
that
never
that's
get to
gonna be
speak to
there.
them. Like we try to do a quarterly team meeting with all the international vendors, or contractors, but it's tough. People have kids and stuff, and they've got, I had the hospital today or whatever, doctor's appointment, kids are out of school, but we just brought on Carmen is our director of ops, and our newest social media manager is on Volley and just is raving about it. He's also in the Philippines, working on a podcast that we're building for a doctor client, and it's just been very easy to use. So Ray MacArthur is saying, I can use it for our church's men's ministry. Thank you. We just sold dinners last week. So Tim, you mentioned that you're using it for a ministry as well, for like a faith, as I am to have a prayer group in Volley.
Yeah, I have a it's called Story for in Life. I'm one of the facilitators for that, and we use it because usually we do it in that study in person, but I'm doing one online, and we have people from Germany, a couple of different people from Germany in there, and some people all over the US. And so we have a synchronous Zoom call every Thursday night, but then the debriefing and the processing and the thinking and the sharing happens on Volley throughout the week. So yeah, it's good.
I love what Karen's saying is I could use like training, the SOPs. Guys, if you don't know what an SOP is, standard operating procedure. And I'll tell you, my team gets nuts with all my 3-letter acronyms, right? My TLAs, my SOPs and KPIs,
your TBDs.
And then my be brief, be brief, baby, be brief. You
need the 5 Bs, you need the BRTs and the LOLs and the
exactly.
ATMs.
It makes me feel so professional. It's so professional. But I love the idea of having SOPs, right? So like in that admin, you could have a thread that's like your SOPs and a link to a Google Doc, right? It doesn't have to be a video. It could be a link to a Google Doc, and then the next one is a link to another Google Doc, and then a link to. It's almost like it functions as like a table of contents that you can quickly go through and find what you're looking for. So we're using it in a prayer group right now, where we as the admins do a prayer for everyone, but you can't respond to that one, right? That's otherwise it's like. It could be just long prayer. We have a separate thread where we do a corporate prayer, and we're like saying, hey, this is our prayer for everybody, health and life and peace and all these things. And then if you have a prayer for somebody, that goes on a separate thread, right? And then that way you can be tagging people and bringing joy to people, surprising them. Oh, I prayed for you, and these different types of things. And so we're excited to see how that works. Now, we're running low on time, but I want to invite all of you guys. I am going to be on Volley for the next 7 days, fully committed to helping you guys get started. I want to see you guys using Volley as your new Facebook groups. I want to see using Volley to replace some of the meetings that maybe aren't working out, or maybe you don't need to have, or maybe aren't happening because you're thinking of them as meetings. We have Volley check-in times. We have an alert in our calendar, 5 p.m. every day. Everyone has to do a Volley check-in, and we do a Volley check-in on Friday afternoons. I want to see you guys doing that. Now, here's the thing. I'm putting my link to my space in the Volley check-in right now. We have 32 people in there right now. I want to see if we can get 100 people into that group by the end of this week. And I want to see even more by next week, because here's the thing. I coach a lot of you guys, and I'm proud of you. I am. the connective thread, even today, speaking with a 7-figure entrepreneurs in my program, and his trouble is leading the team. It's getting everyone moving in the same direction, because I got to talk to him at 5 p.m. and him at 3 a.m. And he's all over the place. I want to see you guys being more productive. Look, I don't want to brag, okay? But look at me. Do I look like a dying cancer patient? I don't. I look healthy and I look vibrant. How am I able to beat cancer, raise a business, manage a family, and do all of those things, you know, in the same time that the same 24 hours as everyone else? It's because I am hyper-focused on being productive with my time. You know, it doesn't go on the calendar if I'm not going to do it. And if I'm not going to do it, it doesn't go on the calendar. How many of you guys have stuff on the calendar, but you just kind of like wave it off when it comes, you know, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do it later. So I say that not to break you down, but to build you up, right? That this is the tool. I think it's the tool you've been waiting for. You guys know me. I don't come out here and promote every new tool. In fact, I needed to use this for some time before I even knew I wanted to do this live stream. I'm so happy with it, and I want you guys to try it too, because I want to see you be more productive. Now, we've got some questions. Caleb's asking you a question, Tim, if maybe you want to respond to that one privately in the thread. Ray MacArthur is saying, bring it on. I have to commit to it, and you absolutely do. My C Prince, I think that you asked a question that we may have forgotten about, and I think Mandy Joe asked a question too. So let me ask him real quick. Tim, my C Prince, does Volley work on mobile?
Yes, it works on all the platforms. I saw there's a question earlier of like, does it work on Linux? I don't think there's a Linux app for it, but a little hack, just go to volley.app in any browser and it'll work from there too.
Really good.
So
now, Mandy was asking about deletion, 60 days.
that's my understanding.
Videos,
Yeah.
please. So talk to us about what that process looks like.
Yeah, they're just trying to control their costs as everything's free right now. And so volleys last for 60 days. If you've got a good reason why that should change or whatever, just reach out to Josh Little on Volley, and I'm sure he'll be happy to, discuss that with you. In the future, when they have a paid version come out, I think unlimited retention will be part of that pay. I don't know, but I think from what I heard, that unlimited retention will be part of that paid program. Yeah. But right now, while it's free, they limit it to 60 days. Unless, like I said, you're like, hey, I need to stay here longer. He's super flexible. Just reach out to him.
Download the video, guys. That's what I'm saying is like, I want you guys to think about this for content creation, right? I know you guys are having ideas. You're sitting at the dentist's office and you're waiting for your kid to get out of the dentist, and you have this great idea for a video. So create a Volley channel that's like my video ideas. And you go to it and you say, okay, I just had 3 ideas for a YouTube video, and it's there. So now when you're going, okay, what video am I going to make today? You go back to your Volley, you listen to all your ideas that you spouted out in random in-between moments, and you pick which video that you're going to do that day.
One of the things that Volley's playing around with an idea, and I don't think it's high on the priority list right now, but this is this idea of what they call a Volley cast, which is, let's say you got Tony Robbins and Gary V were in Volley, and they're going back and forth in their Volley conversation, and you can listen in. You can't participate, but you can listen to that of them going back and forth on Volley and hear that conversation. You're like, what if you wanted to, or you and I, Owen, like decide to do like an asynchronous interview on Volley, and then anyone with the link can just get in and listen to the entire asynchronous video while it's happening, right? So I kind of, at first I thought that was kind of dumb. To be honest. And then I experienced it because I was out doing our chickens one morning, and I was just I had like 50 volleys to catch up on or something like that. I've been off for a long time, and I get into it, and I'm just listening to them, and I'm like really getting sucked into this back and forth conversation that other people are having. And then at the end of it, I'm like, oh, I get it now. Like I would totally just start a Volley cast, put it in my earbuds, my AirPods, or whatever, and just listen to this back and forth of people
100%.
Talking about really interesting things.
Yeah.
And like a lot, I was like, oh, I get it now. So I went back to the guys at Volley. I'm like, okay, now I get it. I was just being polite before, but now I think it's a good idea.
Touche, my friend. You know, and here's the other thing that we're thinking about doing is like, I'm creative whenever, right? Like, I wish that I had this time, like, and be creative Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Right? I'm not that guy. In fact, we got ultra creative this afternoon, and I ran a little bit late for this interview, you know, but I want to be in a place where when I'm driving or when I'm in line at the dentist, like, I have a good idea for a Facebook post. And so I can just like, I can actually do it. Like, I can actually pull up Volley and be like, what's up, everybody? Hey, today I wanted to share with you a really quick tip on how to do blah, 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 blah. I can talk it out on Volley. And if I like it, I download it and then I repost it on Facebook. I can repost it on IGTV.
You can just, it's pretty easy to do. Just make a conversation with yourself, a private conversation, and there you go.
And call it, you create a thread for yourself called My Content. And it's like Facebook post ideas, post ideas, you know, random ideas. And this is sort of like your best of hits that you can kind of come back to and use when you want to. So, guys, that's all the time that we have today. You know, my C Prince is asking, is Volley stereo? Yeah, you'll get, I mean, I think it's a high quality audio for sure. And I think that you're going to be really happy with the product that you get. Here's what I want you guys to do. I'm going to be in Volley going back and forth with all of you for the next 7 days. So if you want to ask me questions about YouTube, if you want to ask me questions about, let's talking about being on camera, right? Come in here. And first off, you know,
hey, Owen,
don't even come here. Come in to introduce yourself and tell us who you are, right? And then I want you to come and see the different threads that we have. Do you want to talk about your website and your funnels? Let's talk about them. Say, oh, and I got this website. Here's a link. It's not really converting for me. And I personally will respond to you. You want to ask questions about YouTube? Look at this. 28 people have already seen this. How many of you out there got 28 posts on your 28 likes on your post this week? You will get more engagement here, right, than you get on your Facebook posts. And so that's why I want to see you guys starting to make this transition. So I'm going to put the link down in the description box, and I want you guys to come. Hey, Phil Starkovich is in the room. Good to see you, my man.
Oh, hey,
Phil
Phil.
Starkovich is the genius behind TubeBuddy, and he's also the man who programmed me. Just kidding.
So
Phil's a
you're
good
the
friend.
robot. Yeah, okay.
You got the joke. I appreciate that. So guys, click on that link right now. I'm going to give you a link directly to my Volley as well. We're going to be doing contests. We're going to be having a lot of fun in the group this week. So join me after the 7 days. I'll still be in Volley, but my team's going to be in there a lot more helping out as well. So I want to invite you guys all to come in there, try it out. Let's create the biggest group on Volley right now. Tim, we're coming after you. We're coming after your 52 members.
Do it. This would be awesome.
Good. Any final words before we head out?
No, thanks for having me here. It's good to hang out with all these people, see some familiar faces here as well. So yeah, Volley's just been really transformational for our business, and I can see how it's doing that for yours. And I'm just excited for it to do that in other people's businesses and lives too.
I am hooked up to the world's greatest cancer medications. I am hooked up to tubes and things, and I'm over here volleying on the other side, getting meetings done. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. Tim, thanks for being here today. I really appreciate
thanks for having me.
Thanks for sharing the app with us. Guys, go get Volley. And here's the thing. Talk to me on Volley right now. Check the link in the description box. I'm Owen Video. We'll see you guys in the next one.